So at the Netflix Christmas Day game, that was the Lions versus the Vikings, the halftime show was billed as Snoop Dogg and Friends. And I already was like, I don't really want to see Snoop Dogg right now, but that's fine. Comes out and he starts doing his Snoop Dogg songs, and they start doing some Christmas stuff. And then the girls from K-pop Demon Hunters come out, like the voices come out, and they sing something. And then a country singer who I didn't know, Lainey Wilson, came out and sang something. And then Andrea Bocelli and his son came out and sang. And then they all sang White Christmas together at the end. And it just felt, I'll say it, I felt menaced. I didn't like it.
That feels AI generated.
It felt Uncanny Valley. And also Andrea Bocelli is performing at that like Turning Point USA competitor Super Bowl halftime show because a lot of people are mad that it's Bad Bunny because they're racist. And so Turning Point USA is doing their own like all-American halftime show, and Andrea Bocelli is performing at it, and I'm like, okay.
What the fuck? Again, I hate football, I hate sports, I will not be participating in anything related to the Super Bowl. And it's just like, it all just feels like conservative propaganda.
All sports are admittedly a kind of strange space because ownership is largely like rich, white, conservative men. But then most of the athletes in it, at least in like basketball, football, are men of color. There's this really strange tension in sports in general. Aubrey, it's funny that you say you're not going to participate in anything revolving around the Super Bowl because that's when we're going to do an episode about football. And we're going to make you pick a quarterback.
I don't want it. I hate it. I think sports are evil.
Well, too bad because it's happening. It's on the schedule.
Oh my god. Now you're spoiling our whole year, and it just got started.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I spoiler alerted an episode we're going to do in early February.
Yeah.
I could spoil episodes I have planned for October. But I'm not going to.
Hey!
I won't. Aubrey, I'm old now. I'm wizened. I've left 27. I'm 28 now. Things are different.
Wow. Speaking of lack of self-restraint, hello and welcome to Informed Attraction, a podcast hosted by one questionable politician and one anti-Iraq war protester.
Those are both you, just to be clear. This is a podcast hosted by one questionable politician / anti-Iraq war protester and Mackenna Goodrich. I'm Mackenna Goodrich.
I'm Dr. Aubrey Hoffer. So this is part 2 of our Rosie O'Donnell series. You know, in part 1, I really wanted to build the foundation of who is Rosie O'Donnell, what has her role in media been, and then for today, I really just want to continue the timeline of her career, particularly in the lens of her long-standing feud with Donald Trump, because...
Heard of him.
Heard of him, unfortunately. Let's hope he dies this year, brothers. I'm manifesting. So...
Can I tell you what song I don't like?
What?
I have done 2 Music League rounds that have been something around, like, political stuff. And, well, no, one of them was, like, songs you would bury a body to. And one was, like, a song you would sing if you were in the musical Assassins and you had to justify your killing of a president. And both times people have submitted the Fuck Donald Trump rap, and I don't like it.
Okay, so I was in the Music League with Assassins, and my submission was Baby by Justin Bieber.
I loved it. I upvoted it.
And I was like, if I was in the musical Assassins, I would kill Charlie Kirk and then immediately start singing
But that's not
Baby.
a president. I think that was the problem, is that you didn't say a president.
I really feel like I got the ethos of that prompt more than anyone else, and I was punished for it.
I did Kill versus Maim by Grimes, and my caption was, fortunately, Elon Musk will never be president. However, it could still be fun to sing this after killing one of his boys.
Never say never.
Except for, okay, what I found out is Kill versus Maim is about a time-traveling vampire Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
That's what she wrote that. So she's a complicated figure, but funny as hell.
Unfortunately, I'm always gonna stan Grimes. Grimes' music, at least.
Yeah.
Grimes as a person is much more dubious, but Grimes, unfortunately, only bangers.
Also,
ever been bangers.
Is Grimes someone who uses they them pronouns? I don't remember. Apologies if I misgendered Grimes. But I also, they also wrote Kill versus Maim because one of their friends was like, your music is also light and soft and fluffy. And she was like, let me write you some hardcore shit. And then also made it about a Tony Soprano who can time travel and is also a vampire. And I'm like, wow. other people's minds are so funny. Like, my brain would never do that.
Well, again, like, I got -2 for baby, and one of the comments somebody left was, wow. The caption got me. This doesn't fit the premise at all, but I simply must vote for it. LMFAO. And
who is that?
Defo.
Nobody
gets me. Nobody gets me except for Mackenna. And that's why we have a podcast.
It's true.
So yeah, I just want to continue the timeline of Rosie O'Donnell's career up until essentially her exile from the United States.
Yeah. And she basically self-deported.
And then basically just talk about, like, what this means. And why this is bad. So where I think I left us off was at the beginning of the O'Donnell and Trump feud in 2006.
Yep.
You know, they
fought about Tara Conner.
Around this time, O'Donnell and her wife Kelly separate. It's not because of any of this feud that's going on. It just happens to be what is happening. So O'Donnell is back on The View. She never left. She's just still on.
This is still the same single season of The View that she was on.
Yeah, we're once again still in the year 2006. Well, it's not even been a year.
I was 8 years old for most of that.
Yeah, I was 10. So part of the thing with O'Donnell on The View is that she condemned many of the Bush administration's policies, especially the war in Iraq and the resulting occupation of Iraq. She also questioned the official explanation for the destruction of the World Trade Center, stating in one episode, "I do believe it's the first time in history that fire has ever melted steel." So as we said, Rosie O'Donnell did say jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
It just makes me think of those vines that guy would do where he was like, you know what I mean? The Bush to 9/11 vines?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Dick Cheney made money off the Iraq War.
Yeah, Dick Cheney made money off the Iraq War. Yeah.
Just facts. She would consistently mention recent military...
he died.
Yeah, thank God.
He died. I kind of forgot about that until just this moment.
Yeah, 2025 was a fucking year for known figures.
Yeah, it was.
We lost a lot of them.
Did Kissinger also die last year, or was that 2024?
I think it was this year, or last year.
No, it's 2023.
Oh. You know, they all...
He was ahead of the curve. I mean, he lived to be 100 years old. That's crazy work.
Yeah, that is crazy. My longstanding belief has been that after the Civil War, we should have taken every pro-slavery person and killed them. And I think society would have been better off. Anyway, Rosie O'Donnell would consistently mention the recent military deaths and news about the war, and she criticized the U.S. media for its lack of attention to these issues compared to other media coverage throughout the world. This led to a series of heated exchanges with her co-host Hasselbeck, as well as the most discussed moment of her professional life. On May 17th, 2007, O'Donnell rhetorically...
We've moved to the next year.
Yes.
I'm 9 years old now.
Yes, I am now 11.
9/11.
Oh my God. On May 17th, 2007, O'Donnell rhetorically asked, 655,000 Iraqi civilians dead. Who are the terrorists? If you were in Iraq and another country, the United States, the richest in the world, invaded your country and killed 655,000 of your citizens, what would you call us? You know, facts. Facts were said.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like that's like kind of the ongoing conversation we're having about like Israel-Palestine too, where it's like when people try to be like, well, October 7th, it's like, okay, well, sure, but then how many people have been killed in Palestine since before and since October 7th? Unfortunately, perhaps the tables have turned in a way that is, there's a genocide happening.
I just feel like it's not even that controversial now to be like, yeah, the United States commits acts of terrorism.
Well, yeah, I mean, and then, you know, I was just finishing the last podcast on the Left series about Heinrich Himmler, and, like, they talked about that, like, part of, like, what the Nazis based the Holocaust on was what the American government did to Native Americans. And so it's it's bad. It's bad. Abu Ghraib happened. The My Lai massacre happened. Like, we be killing people in a horrific way.
Yeah. So in 2007, Time magazine includes O'Donnell in their annual list of the 100 most influential people, and she's also named the most annoying celebrity of 2007 by a reader's poll in Parade magazine.
Damn. I think that would damage me psychically for the rest of my life.
The duality of man is to be both on the list of 100 most influential people and also the most annoying celebrity.
It's like when you win a Razzie and a Oscar in the same year, which Sandra Bullock did. I know, at least. I know other people have too, but I know Sandra Bullock did for All About Steve, which I think we saw together.
All About Steve.
It's the one where she's like gets obsessed with the crossword puzzle designer. It's her and Bradley Cooper, and she like stalks him across the country.
I don't think
Maybe it wasn't you. I thought it was with you who I saw that movie.
You know what? I'm looking at the movie cover, and it looks familiar enough to me. We wouldn't have seen it in theaters, because I would have only been 13. Oh no, I would have been 16.
Yeah, I think we saw it in high school.
Second time we've established on the show that I can't do basic math. No,
well, I guess I would have been, no, because I would have been 12, so we wouldn't have known each other.
No, 2009, I was 1990s, 2006. Yeah, no, I was 13.
Okay, yeah, no. Okay. Fuck, who did I see All About Steve with? Okay, not important. I'll just say that she won a Razzie for All About Steve in the same year that she won an Oscar for The Blind Side.
And, you know, I think sometimes we should take the Oscars back. I think The Blind Side is maybe evil.
You know what I didn't know? That The Blind Side was based on, like, one part of a biography, which is crazy. Best Astro. Who else was nominated that year? Hi guys, sorry, me and Aubrey haven't talked very much in the past couple weeks, so we're gonna be on a lot of tangents today. Apologies in advance. Okay, so the other options we had that year were Helen Mirren for The Last Station, Carey Mulligan for An Education, Gabourey Sidibe for Precious, and Meryl Streep for Julie and Julia.
Oh my god, we probably should have given that to Meryl.
Yeah, we probably should have given that to Meryl.
Who else was up for the Razzie?
Okay, let me look. Also, low-key, I didn't hate All About Steve, is what I'll say. It's, like, not good, but I didn't hate it. It just was, like, stupid. There are 3 people who have won a Razzie and an Oscar in the same year, which is Alan Menken, Brian Helgeland, and Sandra Bullock. 3 actors have received Oscar and Razzie acting nominations for the same role. James Coco for Only When I Laughed, Amy Irving for Yentl, and Glenn Close for Hillbilly Elegy.
Okay, so here were the other candidates for Razzie in Sandra Bullock's year. So we had Sandra Bullock in All About Steve. We had Beyonce in Obsessed.
Oh, I remember that movie too.
Miley Cyrus in the Hannah Montana movie.
Oh, that's ridiculous. I'm pissed.
Megan Fox in Jennifer's Body and Transformers. That's insane. That she should have been nominated for an Oscar for Jennifer's Body.
This is the nominators for the Razzies must be men. That is what that means.
It's just men. And then Sarah Jessica Parker in Did You Hear About the Morgans?
That's crazy.
Honestly, I'm going to be honest, Sandra Bullock probably deserved that one.
Yeah. How dare they put Megan Fox for Jennifer's Body on there? I'm so angry right now. I've never been more angry.
This is such a just like adults or like older men in the late 2000s, because the one who won for worst actor were the Jonas Brothers in the Jonas Brothers 3D concert experience.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's like Kristen Stewart got nominated for like Twilight every single year.
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
Like, okay, so you just hate Twilight.
Yeah, you just hate Twilight. You just don't like when women are being on screen.
in media that's just meant for girls.
What's the most recent Razzies? Let's see.
Dakota Johnson for Madam Web won. And the other nominees were Cate Blanchett for Borderlands, Bryce Dallas Howard for Argyle, Lady Gaga for Joker Folie à Deux, insane take, by the way, and Jennifer Lopez for Atlas.
You know what? I do feel like the Razzies now compared to 2009, those feel more fair in their nomination.
No one understands Joker Folie à Deux like I do.
Well,
one of the worst movies I've ever seen that I had the best time watching.
If you want to listen, we should do an episode where we cover our 2 favorite movie musical sequels, and you do Joker Folie à Deux, and I do Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again.
Those aren't the same at all. One of those is a good movie. One of those is a bad movie that I had a great time watching.
Okay, well.
You don't think Mamma Mia 2, Here We Go Again is a genuinely good movie?
I think it's the best. I think it is one of the best movies I've ever seen at a theater.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So sorry, Rosie O'Donnell called the United States terrorists.
So yeah, naturally conservative commentators are like, she just called American soldiers terrorists. So on May 23rd, or 2007, so like a week or so later, a heated discussion ensues, in part because of what O'Donnell perceives as Elisabeth Hasselbeck's unwillingness to defend O'Donnell from all of this criticism from conservative media. O'Donnell asks Hasselbeck, "Do you believe that I think our troops are terrorists?" Hasselbeck says no, but then is like, "You have to defend our institutions." O'Donnell is hurt by this, and she felt that Hasselbeck betrayed their friendship because they were friends outside of the show, even though on The View they had this more like, adversarial, like we're having these kind of debates. And O'Donnell says, quote, "There's something about somebody being different on TV toward you than they are in the dressing room, and it just didn't ring true for me." O'Donnell stated that Republican pundits were mischaracterizing her statements and that the right-wing media portrayed her as a bully, attacking pure Christian Elisabeth whenever they would disagree. And honestly, that is a fair assessment. Like, she was painted as this, like, big, mean, femme bully who's beating on the poor little conservative pretty host.
Yeah. Never had that dynamic happen in real life to anyone ever before.
Never.
O'Donnell
decides that day that she's going to leave the show, and afterwards she would say that the reason wasn't because of the argument, but rather the fact that she saw the studio monitor that the camera had shown a split screen with her and Hasselbeck on either side of it, and she felt that the show's director and producers had to have prepared that in advance, and that there was a setup to just egg her into that position, and she really says that the reason is because of her and the executive producer and the production team rather than Elisabeth Hasselbeck.
I have been watching The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and I don't watch a lot of reality TV. Like I like Love Island, but that's pretty much it. And as I've been watching this show, obviously there are people on that show that are like villains. Like, there are some of the men who these women are married to, I'm like, prison. But I also think like the true villains of all of these shows are the producers.
Yeah.
Because you are putting people, and like obviously like they're signing up for reality TV in some regard, they're signing up for it, but like some of these situations that like are being filmed on this show, I'm like, I would not tell people about conversations I had in this regard. Like on I would never even talk about this happening in my life, let alone let someone film me have this conversation. And one of the girls who was on it was talking about that. She's like, obviously some of these situations are set up by producers. Why would I ever go on a trip with someone who I hate?
Yeah.
And it's like, I just am like, I'm so curious about like, I mean, and I know The View is like a talk show, not reality TV, but I am so curious about these producers whose job it is just to drum up drama. And I can't think about it too hard or I get real espresso about it.
Well, and also the editing of it. So I tried to watch a couple episodes of Mormon Wives. I couldn't get into it, but I read a bunch of the like drama of it. And essentially there is a reveal that one of the husbands had been molested when he was a child. And that was something that he talked about that they filmed for season 1, but then they don't like show that content until season 2, and I guess it totally recontextualizes like him and like the way he was acting and the way the wife was acting, and I just think that that's like fucked up.
Oof. Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet. I'm only like halfway through season 1.
Yeah, I've been get into it.
I've been watching Secret Lives of Mormon Wives while playing my roguelike fight simulator, How Many Dudes. So I've been really doing gender recently.
Hell yes, brother.
I'm gonna send you How Many Dudes. It's pretty fun.
I tried watching it because we watched a little bit of Dancing with the Stars because of my son, Robert Irwin, who I'm in love with.
My son, Robert Irwin, who I'm in love with. Okay.
Look, I'm in love. I much like Jacob Elordi, I feel only a maternal love toward him.
Okay.
He deserved to win, and he did. The family legacy.
Truly.
So, ABC News reports that the arguments that O'Donnell would have with Hasselbeck brought the show's best ratings ever, but O'Donnell and ABC agree to cut short her contract agreement. Interestingly, Donald Trump insulted both hosts, but he took O'Donnell's side because he was also against the Iraq War. So, here's the quote from Donald Trump. "On this one, I think Rosie should win, but Rosie is not much herself. I think anybody that's against the war in Iraq is the winner of the fight, because to justify the war in Iraq, Only an imbecile could do that.
The weird thing about Donald Trump is he was sort of anti-war until he was president this time.
Yeah.
And like never, not, you know, obviously during his first term, I would not like call him like the peace whatever, like no, but like he has kind of been anti-war until this time around, and now he's like, what if we kill all the Venezuelans? And it's like,
Well, because that's just a distraction for the Epstein files, or an attempt to reinvigorate the economic stakeholders who he has.
Yeah, Palantir and that man who's on cocaine.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It is so I've been watching a lot of, like, Bush-era political documentaries lately, and it is so unfortunate.
Because Aubrey loves George W. Bush.
He is so evil. He's so evil, and the fact that my family voted for him, I'm like, oh, it actually changed the way I think about my parents, because I'm like, oh, you guys are dumb. like you guys are dumb. And here's the thing, it is really unfortunate that our two probably most evil presidents we have had, maybe ever, but certainly of the 21st century, unfortunately, objectively, also the most hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way about, like, think about, like, Andrew Jackson.
Have you seen the clip of George W. Bush where he's talking to the reporters and they're asking him questions about the Iraq War, and he answers, and then he goes, now watch this drive, because he's on the golf course, and then
yes, of course. I think that's the thing. It's, like, obviously, I think that because so much of, like, liberal leftist media right now is run by millennials, I think there's a lot of talk of like this has never happened before, because the person who was president when they were teenagers was Obama. Mm-hmm. But like George W. Bush said insane shit on TV all the time. Not to the degree of Donald Trump, but like George Bush said insane shit on television.
Well, the thing with the Bushes that I've realized is, like, so first of all, George W. Bush is just an idiot. Like, there's just nothing behind his eyes. Like, there's a fucking single brain cell just floating around like it's the fucking, like, you know how the old computer screensavers would just, like, have the logo that just bounces back and forth? That is George W. Bush's single brain cell. The thing with, like, the Bush family is that they just wanted to be fucking rich. That's why they had all of their deals with, like, Saudi Arabia and the Bin Laden family.
Right. Hey, but please clap for Jeb.
Why?
Do you remember that clip of him going, please clap?
I do remember that. They're just, like, that's the thing. Like, they just wanted to be rich and essentially, like, get their check and get out. Whereas Donald Trump is already rich, so he wants power. And that's worse.
Yes.
So now he's just being evil to try to get power because everyone hates him. But like all sad little people at the top, they all just want to be adored. And they'll never be.
Not by me.
Not by me. Hope that bitch dies.
I mean, he will die.
I know, but I hope it's soon.
Okay, all right.
O'Donnell, did I ever tell you that the day my grandpa died, like, within, like, 5 minutes, his body is still on the fucking bed, and we're all around his body, you know, trying to cope or whatever. Like, the third thing my grandma says is, like, I'm really glad he got to see Trump elected a second time.
I do remember you telling me this.
That's insanity.
It's crazy work.
Well, his corpse is just there. I was like, wow. Anyway, O'Donnell gets replaced by Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes.
Initially, O'Donnell expresses interest in replacing Bob Barker on The Price is Right.
That's hilarious.
Barker was a frequent guest on her talk show, and I guess he told reporters that he thought that she would make a fine host, and it was reported that he had actually endorsed her as a possible successor, but he said that he had no role in actually choosing his replacement. And in June 2007, O'Donnell announces on her blog that it's not going to happen, and that she wouldn't have wanted to uproot and move her family to California anyway, even if she had gotten the job.
Is it Drew Carey who hosts it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's great.
Hey, we all know how important Whose Line Is It Anyway is to me.
Yes. We should talk about Whose Line sometime.
We should. I do famously have Everything's Made Up and the Points Don't Matter tattooed on my body.
Yes. In 2008, O'Donnell talks about becoming sober. She states that she had not been an alcoholic, but that she was giving up alcohol to lose weight, and that she was drinking too much, and she just didn't want to anymore because it's just hard to lose weight and be drinking alcohol, and sometimes it's just easier to be sober.
Yeah.
In 2008, The View wins an Emmy for Outstanding Special Class Writing for a specially themed autism episode that O'Donnell helped to create. The award gets accepted on the behalf of Rosie O'Donnell by her friends Jeanette Barber, who are her longtime friend and producer of the Rosie O'Donnell Show, as well as the other people who are involved with that episode. Rosie herself does not, claim the award.
Okay.
So she starts to host Rosie Radio on Sirius XM between 2009 and 2011. O'Donnell said that she was approached by the company after she appeared on Howard Stern's Sirius XM show. Rosie had a strong dislike of Howard Stern because Howard Stern is Howard Stern, and because he's Howard Stern, he went after her and talked down about her frequently on his show. This was when he was on radio and syndicated in a lot of markets, and his demographic learned to really dislike and make fun of Rosie O'Donnell. I think it would actually be really interesting to do an episode on Howard Stern at some point, because he really is the blueprint for, I think, a lot of frankly incel shit.
Well, what I was literally just about to say is I feel like every time someone brings up Howard Stern, I'm just sort of smiling and nodding because I just feel like I don't know anything about him.
Well, and then it's our knowledge of him is oh, he's a judge on America's Got Talent, and his brand now has become a lot more oh, haha, I was edgy in the past and now I'm kind of for everybody, and it's he would say vile and disgusting things about women on his show.
Yeah, I just I really I again, like I said, I really think I I every time he gets mentioned, I'm yeah, of course, Howard Stern, I know everything about him. I obviously am in touch with the lore.
We're just too young. We didn't experience the lore.
Right. I'm sure I'm not the demographic for, especially when I was a teenager, I wouldn't have been the demographic for the Howard Stern show. I mean, which is funny for me to even say that because I watched shit like Mansers growing up.
In mid-2011, O'Donnell begins dating executive search consultant Michelle Rounds, and on December 5th, during a break in the taping of The Rosie Show, she announces to her studio audience that she and Rounds were engaged. Donald Trump decided to weigh in on Rosie's new engagement, and he tweeted, "I feel sorry for Rosie's new partner in love, whose parents are devastated at the thought of their daughter being with Rosie, who is a true loser."
We really let a guy who wanted to be a Twitter influencer be the president.
Yeah. He was doing this in 2011.
Yes.
Rosie responded by calling him an asshole.
Well.
Yeah. From 2011 to 2012, Rosie hosts a second short-lived talk show on OWN, which is the Oprah Winfrey Network, called The Rosie Show. The show taped at the Chicago studio that was formerly home to The Oprah Winfrey Show. The show debuts on October 10th, 2011, to generally positive reviews. Trump also had things to say about this, and
Jesus Christ!
He calls her new show a complete and total disaster. His direct quote is, "It's really amazing. When I don't like somebody, their shows do really badly," adding that it upsets him that O'Donnell's show is a disaster because he loves Oprah and wants Oprah to be successful.
Listen to the Behind the Bastards Oprah Winfrey series if you're interested. I have never held hate in my heart for someone in this specific way. There are people who I hate Donald Trump, but there is no one who I have had a petty ass feud with to the point that I am constantly tweeting about them. Should I start just skeeting about celebrities I kind of find distasteful? But I can't even think of who I would do that about.
That's the thing. It's she occupies a percentage of his brain.
Right. If we were to draw a circle chart of a pie chart of his brain, a non-negligible, there'd be a slice that is just what is Rosie O'Donnell up to.
Yeah. So OWN cancels The Rosie Show on March 6th, 2012, with the last show taped on March 20th, which is the eve of O'Donnell's 50th birthday. and the final show airs on March 29th. Oprah has a nice
That's
statement.
my dad's birthday.
Oh, shit. Oprah has a nice statement to Rosie about this. She says, I thank Rosie from the bottom of my heart for joining me on this journey. She's been an incredible partner, working to deliver the best possible show every single day. As I've learned in the last 15 months, a new network launch is always challenging, and ratings grow over time as you continue to gather an audience. I'm grateful to Rosie and the dedicated Rosie Show team for giving it their all. Rosie responds to the cancellation by thanking her viewers and the host city of Chicago, saying, I loved working with Oprah in the amazing city of Chicago. I was welcomed with open arms and will never forget the kindness of all who I encountered. It was a great year for me. I wish the show was able to attract more viewers, but it just didn't. I'm headed back to my home in New York with gratitude. On we go. So,
Nice.
thoughtful ending. So the show ends, and then in mid-August 2012, O'Donnell suffers a heart attack. She says that the artery was 99% blocked and a stent was inserted. She later posted on Twitter that to reverse her heart disease, that she would try to lose weight and adopt a whole foods, plant-based diet. Interestingly, she gets well wishes from Donald Trump.
Donald, pick a lane here. Well, I would say that like this was before he like was fully off the deep end.
Yeah.
and would do like his Rob Ryder, whatever they call him on Truth Social's posts.
His tweet is, Rosie, get better fast. I'm starting to miss you. Which, like, it's a guy who's been trolling you for, like, years, is like, I don't want you to die. It's like fucking Batman and Joker, where it's like, I don't have anything to do without you.
Without you. No, literally. Well, and I also, like, maybe he just wishes he was a lesbian, you know?
Rosie responds, saying that his well wishes took her by surprise. She tweets, well, thank you, Donald. I must admit your post was a bit of a shock. Are you trying to kill me?
That's funny. I like that. Aubrey, I'm really worried I'm going to have a heart attack.
Like right now?
No, just recently though. I anytime I have like a little bit of like a chest pain, I'm like, uh-oh, this is the end.
Oh, me too. I will occasionally get like a chest pain, which is usually like a muscle chest pain from like doing something, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm about to have the big one.
I know, and it's like I had brought up the fact that like there is an increase in specifically young men having heart attacks. So like men under the age of 30 having heart attacks. Mm-hmm. And there's like all kinds of things it could be linked to. But one of the things that they like are theorizing that it's linked to is an increase in energy drink consumption.
Yes.
And now I look past my little, I stopped drinking Celsiuses because I was like, I'm really nervous that I am going to make my heart implode.
I think about this all the time in the wellness space because I'll watch like the, morning routines, whatever, and like if it's a fat person, people are like, oh my god, you disgusting piece of shit. Like there's this one girl who I follow where she had a protein shake in the morning, and all the people were like, why the fuck would you have a protein shake when you're just sitting at your desk? And then I watch another vlog, and it's like a thin woman who's like fucking having an energy drink, and then a coffee, and then like another coffee in the afternoon, and I'm like...
That's how she's thin, since caffeine restricts your appetite.
No, and it's just like crazy to me, because it's like, if you're really so concerned about health, like, you need to fucking talk about the fact that everyone is addicted to caffeine in a real bad way. I have coffee maybe once a week. I do not consume caffeine daily because I think it's really bad for you.
I saw this post that it kind of made me chuckle, but this guy was talking about how he had cut out drinking and caffeine, but what he's replaced it with is drinking tea. But then one of the tea types that he named that he was drinking was green tea, which has caffeine in it. And he's like, yeah, I'm having like 6 to 7 cups of tea a day. And I was like, okay, so you're drinking caffeine? Like if you're just drinking herbal tea, that doesn't have, but like if one of the main types of tea that you're drinking is green tea, that has caffeine in it.
Yeah.
It's not as much as like black tea, but it's there.
Yeah.
I'm just a performative man with my books and my matcha latte.
My God. Does matcha not have caffeine?
No, it does. It absolutely has caffeine.
Oh, okay.
I had a crippling caffeine addiction after working at Dutch Bros. And so the fact that I'm down to like 1 to 2, regular ass coffees or a matcha a day is like genuinely astounding from where we were at when I moved to New York after working at Dutch Bros.
Yeah, good on you. I do not partake.
I'm working on it.
So in 2012, Rosie marries her partner, Michelle, and they adopt a baby girl the following year. In 2013, O'Donnell has a vertical gastric sleeve surgery done, which is a weight loss surgery, and she loses 50 pounds. She said, "I did what many women do, and I did not take care of myself, and that's why I'm here to try to get women to know your worth, to take care of yourself and know the symptoms." This is a speech she's doing for the American Heart Association. You know, I will say, a broken clock is right twice a day, because Donald Trump tweets, "Rosie O'Donnell just said that she felt shame at being fat. That is not politically correct. She killed Star Jones for having weight loss surgery. Just had it." And you know what? He's not wrong. Because she did absolutely criticize Star Jones for weight loss surgery and then turned around and did it.
Yeah. Well, okay, I'm trying to remember from last time. Did she criticize Star Jones for having the weight loss surgery or for having the weight loss surgery but lying about how she lost the weight?
Well, I think it's the latter.
Okay.
So that is a little bit different.
Yeah, like, just, this is my whole thing with, like, anyone who's, like, getting plastic surgery on Ozempic, whatever, just be on God about it.
Yeah.
Like, literally just be on God about it. Who cares? Like, I mean, I did a whole podcast series about why we should care, but, like, just be on God about it.
Yeah, it's interesting that there is this, like, quiet epidemic of people who are secretly on GLP-1s.
Yeah, and it's like, fuck it, like, just... Oh my God. Speaking of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, during Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, almost every ad is for Roe.
Yeah.
Like, literally... It is unbelievable. Like, I would say 75% of the ads I get while watching Secret Life. No other show, when I'm watching, like, New Girl on Hulu, anything, it is not that. When watching Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, it is like, do you want to do Roe? Here's Serena Williams telling you to do Roe. Do you want to do Roe? Have you thought about Roe? Have you seen our ads about Roe? And it's like, yes.
If you watch Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, you're probably fat.
Well, I think it's more that, like, they're so on God about, like, the plastic surgery and work they're getting done.
Yeah.
Like, there's a whole episode about someone getting a labiaplasty. Like they are on God about what they are doing to their faces and bodies. And so it's like, I think that, like, there is, I mean, you know, their audience is mostly young women. And so they're like, you're going to want to go on a GLP.
Well, I mean, it just goes back to this weird thing where I'm seeing, like, people try to claim plastic surgery as a form of feminism and self-love, where they're like, I'm just doing it because it makes me feel better about myself. And it's like, you know what? Like, for some people, maybe, sure. For you, probably not. That's the thing. Like,
that sounds like a Donald Trump tweet to Rosie O'Donnell, what you just said.
People get so fucking cunty to me sometimes where they're like, so what? You're saying that I can't lose weight? It's like, no, fucking, like, why do you want my permission? Why do you want my permission so fucking bad?
Because you're God.
I guess so. And that's the thing. It's like,
Aubrey is the Dune sandworm, God Emperor of the universe.
It's just crazy because I'll be like, oh, like, you know, if you want to lose weight, fine, fucking lose weight. I just think most people are pursuing it for the wrong reason. And I get so many comments where people are like, what do you mean most people? Like, most people want to lose like 20 pounds because they think that being skinny will make them hotter. I am dead.
And they're right. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Like, that's the thing. It's like, people are like, no, every person who's going to lose weight is trying to do a big health transformation and they're trying to turn their lives around. It's like, no, most people are like, already thin to mid-sized and want to lose 20 pounds because they want to look more like fucking Alex Earl.
Well, it's so funny. On my birthday, Jesse, who's one of my oldest friends, sent a video of us with friend. I think I was like 17 or 18. I don't remember. And I was like, oh, I have like found some solace in the body that I live in now, because I saw this video of myself when I was like, you know, whatever, late teens, and I was like, look at those skinny little arms, and like not in a positive way. I was like, ee, they were so little, because now I can do a side crow.
Incredible. Me and my friend India, who are both fat now, she sent me a picture of us from a few years ago and was like, look when we were skinny. And I was like, ah! Anyway.
I'm just built now.
Yeah, you're fucking swole.
Yeah. I have my, like, I'll show you, Aubrey. I'll stand up. I look like I'm about to go, like, be a dude in the gym and lift, because I have my big headphones on. I got a beanie on. I got the biggest hoodie I own on, and I got big black sweatpants on.
I love it.
I got that shit on, brother. I'm about to squat. You know what? Also, can I say, this is call out culture to my little brother, Trey Goodrich. I told him that I could squat double my body weight when I was working out a lot in, like, 2022, and he was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I was like, yeah, I think at max I squatted like, I think I weighed like 140 pounds at that point, and I squatted like I think my highest thing I squatted was like 275, which, okay, that's 5 pounds less than double my body weight. And he was like, what are you saying right now? And I was like, did no one remember this era of my life where I was going to the gym and lifting for like 90 minutes every day after work? Like, yes, and now I absolutely could not do that, but I can do a side crow.
Incredible. You got to make sure you get into side crow and post and take a picture, and then we'll put it in the show notes.
Oh yeah, let me. Okay, next when I go hang out with my friends on Sunday, I'll be like, hey, really quick, I need a pic.
Yes. In 2014, O'Donnell returns to The View. Her former co-host, Elisabeth Hasselbeck, was not pleased with the news. However, Donald Trump welcomed it. He called it a good move on ABC's part. And then
he loves her.
But then he tweets, Rosie is back on The View, which tells you how desperate they must be. It's the standard short-term fix and long-term disaster. And then an hour later, he tweets, Rosie is crude, rude, obnoxious, and dumb. Other than that, I like her very much.
He was so happy to have his friend back. He was like, oh, my program has my girl back that I can, like, dunk on.
Like, that's the thing. I don't want to make it, like, too lighthearted, because Rosie O'Donnell is, like, incredibly distressed by, like, how much Donald Trump talks about her and hates her.
Yes.
But it's just, like, so crazy, because it's, like, when she's not in the limelight, and, like, I do
He's
think
sad.
He wants her back.
And no, your like thing about them of like the Joker and Batman,
yes.
I think is genuinely so apt, because like Batman has like other villains he's dealing with, you know. Joker has Batman.
Yeah.
He has Batman. And so like Donald Trump is a Joker and he's like, where the fuck is Batman?
Yeah.
No, he's playing with the Scarecrow? Fuck. I gotta go blow up a building so that the Batman pays attention to me.
Oh my god, I think Donald Trump became president to get Rosie O'Donnell to pay attention. He was like, you want to talk about the Iraq War? Well, talk about Venezuela now.
I'm gonna cause a war.
So, upon making her comeback as the host, as a co-host on The View, O'Donnell discussed her emotional journey following her weight loss and her heart attack, and she tells People magazine that the criticism that she got from Trump was the worst bullying she had ever been through. She says, probably the Trump stuff was the most bullying I ever experienced in my life, including as a child. It was national, and it was sanctioned societally. Whether I deserved it or not is up to your own interpretation. Which I think is, like, a really thoughtful thing to say, because, like, I don't know, like, growing up my entire life and seeing the way societally we just shitted on Rosie O'Donnell, it's like, I was always like, okay, oh my gosh, she must have, like, done something horrible to deserve this amount of vitriol. And then it's like, going through her career history, it's not justified in any way.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just, like, she was probably always on thin ice because she was a fat woman in media.
And queer.
And so she was, and queer. And so she was always on thin ice. And then when she did a thing that was unpopular at the time, like now, hindsight being 2020, now like whatever, everyone sort of like the Iraq war was bad. But at the time, it was still very like, America first, we gotta support. I mean, we're still like this to a certain point, but you know what I mean? Like, she did a thing that was hugely unpopular at the time that she did it. And because she was already on thin ice, it was like, well, now we can finally say all the mean shit we've always thought about her.
Well, I think it's kind of similar to the whole stuff with Lizzo, where I feel like people were waiting for the moment where they could justify how much they fucking hated Lizzo as, like, just a fat black woman existing in a way that they found unpalatable.
Right. Well, and what I will say is, like, I would say that the Lizzo stuff is worse than what Rosie O'Donnell did.
No, exactly. It is. It absolutely is.
It's the same, like, waiting for the person who you already don't like. Not because of the thing, because that's the thing. No one didn't like Lizzo because of the things that Lizzo did, because no one knew about that.
Yeah.
All people who hated Lizzo hated her because she was fat and black. And then when she genuinely did something wrong, they were like, see, I always fucking knew it. And it's like, no, you didn't always know it. You always hated her because you're a bigot, and now you have a reason to justify your hatred. But like, regardless of this happening, you hated her. And I think that a similar thing happened with Rosie O'Donnell here, where it's like, you always didn't like her because she was a fat queer woman, and now she did a thing that, like, people find distasteful, and now you can be like, see, I always knew she was bad. But when it's like, no, you just don't like her because of who she is, And this thing that she did is now helping you justify that bigotry.
Right. And again, I'm not trying to like sanitize Rosie O'Donnell and be like nothing she ever did deserved criticism. Like we talked about like the racism, like there's been other things she's done where I'm like, you quite clearly are like wrong for what you have done and like should like do something about that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like that's the thing, right? Is that like in this world where we have like a president who is constantly like being just the worst human being ever, like society really was at the time like, you know what? Fuck Rosie O'Donnell.
Right, right.
So Trump responds to her comments saying, you know, hey, like this was just national societally sanctioned bullying by saying, he tweets, Rosie, no offense and good luck on the new show, but remember, you started it. And I don't know why like that to me is like chilling. I don't find that
very
like,
menacing.
yeah,
Very menacing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like maybe it's like yeah, like I guess like with the whole Tara Connor stuff, like she chose to comment on that, but it's like at this point now, this is like almost a decade of constant vitriol.
But also, like, I think the thing that's tricky, and it's I think the thing that's hard for anyone who is in a position like being on The View, it's like their job was to talk about stuff. Mm-hmm. And so, like, you know, like that was their job. I sort of disagree with her take on that situation, but like being like, because you said a thing that I disagree with, you deserve to be called fat. I mean, we talk about this all the time, that like we both are sort of anti like appearance shaming stuff, even if we don't like we don't like the person, because then it's like just calling them fat because you hate them. That doesn't matter to them. It matters to all to like all other fat people. And it's kind of the same thing here, where it's like, okay, you can like not like that a person whose job it is to talk about things said a thing that you didn't like, but that doesn't mean you get to be like, yeah, and you're fucking gay. Like that like that's not a proportionate response.
Right. O'Donnell leaves The View after 5 months. She says, the truth is, I had a heart attack 2 years ago. She had never been public about her heart attack before, and stress is very bad for a heart attack survivor. I'm minimizing my stress by leaving The View. The stress I'm having at home is not easily as remediable. There's a lot of stuff going on at home. I'll talk about this in a little bit. Like, unfortunately, one of Rosie O'Donnell's children has really kind of long struggled with, like, substance abuse and mental health issues. And, like, that I can imagine is really difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
While you're also trying to, like, host a national TV show.
Yeah.
Asked about the struggling show, Donald Trump said, well, it's very sad what's happened to The View, and I predicted that with Rosie O'Donnell it would fail. I guess the prediction is correct, but I mean, she's a total train wreck, so let's see what happens, and I hope it works out well. I like the show a lot, but let's face it, Rosie is a loser.
I'm so sick of this guy.
Exactly. In 2015, Rosie and Michelle divorce, and Rosie gets full custody of their daughter. In August of 2015, O'Donnell tweets that her 17-year-old daughter, Chelsea, who is her child who struggles with mental health issues and substance abuse, she tweets that Chelsea had gone missing from their home along with her therapy dog. She's found a week later. This is kind of the beginning of sort of Chelsea publicly being known for mental health issues. After this, basically anytime Chelsea has any kind of legal trouble or anything like that, it gets reported on in the news, which I'm sure is really difficult.
Awful.
Yeah.
Literally awful.
Because she's not famous. She's just like a person who has a famous mom.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
We were talking about TMZ recently, Aubrey, and I don't like it.
I know. That's the thing. I do believe TMZ is evil, but it is, like, I watch TMZ every day of my childhood. The Trump-O'Donnell feud first made its way into the 2016 campaign spotlight during the first Republican presidential primary debate. Because, of course, that's where you bring up your petty feuds with celebrities.
He can't keep her name out of his mouth.
Yeah. Donald Trump was asked by Fox News host and debate moderator Megyn Kelly about his use of language like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals to describe some women. Donald Trump responds by saying, only Rosie O'Donnell. And people think that it's hilarious.
Oh my God. You know, it's so funny to think about that now. A, and twofold reason why it's funny to think about that now. B, that he like literally recently called a female reporter a pig while actively being the president of the United States. And two, Megyn Kelly fucking was such a big part of that whole, like, the Fox News, was it Roger Ailes, like, sex scandal thing and, like, the bombshell, whatever, all that stuff. And then she literally was like, well, that whole video she made where or like, I think it was on a podcast, and she was like, well, Jeffrey Epstein isn't a pedophile, he's an ephebophile, so it's different. And it's like...
If you sit me down with any one of the fucking Republican establishment, I'm just gonna be like, I think you should kill yourself. I think that you're an evil person, and the only way the world will be better is if you kill yourself.
Butter's just coming in to yell at you.
Butters!
Butter's just like, you have to stop encouraging this.
Hi, Butter. So anyway, O'Donnell responds to that horrible statement during the Republican primaries by tweeting, try explaining that to your kids. And it's like, imagine you're watching this shit with your kids and the guy running for president is like, I only ever called Rosie O'Donnell those horrible things, and everyone laughs and applauds.
This is an evil man.
Yeah. Trump once again attacked Rosie O'Donnell, who I'm gonna say is his arch nemesis at this point.
It is the Joker and Batman.
Yeah. He attacks her again at another national political event, his first presidential debate where he faced off against Hillary Clinton. So Clinton accuses Trump of sexism during the debate and says, this is a man who has called women pigs, slobs, and dogs. And Trump responds by saying, Hillary is hitting me with tremendous commercials. Some of it I said in entertainment, some of it I said to someone who has been very vicious to me, Rosie O'Donnell. I said very tough things to her, and I think everybody would agree she deserves it and nobody feels sorry for her.
Has she said anything negative about him? Save for the Tara Conner thing?
She's, like, made fun of his hair.
Okay. So it's not just, like, she said the one thing about Tara Conner and then he's, like, been after her the entire time. There is a little bit of, like, an ongoing back and forth.
Yeah, there was a back and forth. Like, especially, like, on The View, right? Like, she would reference, like, his hair being gross, or, like, she would, like, describe him in, like, a negative, pejorative way. Like, like, there was definitely a, like... Well, at least she was on The View, there was more of a back and forth, and then after she leaves The View, it becomes increasingly one-sided.
Okay.
And then at this point, when it's like 2016, it is basically Donald Trump saying this shit and Rosie O'Donnell catching strays and being like, whoa, what the fuck?
Right. Okay.
So, like, there's a point where it's like, at first there's a give and take, and then at some point she's not playing the game anymore.
I also just, like, for me, and, like, whatever, I'm 28 years old. I don't know how it feels to be a man in your 60s. But, like, you're a man in your 60s.
Yeah.
You have children. Why are you talking about anyone this way?
And then Trump goes on Twitter after the debate and he says that all the comments he made about her in the past, including calling her a pig, were justified. O'Donnell responds to this by tweeting her support for Hillary Clinton and tweets in all caps, he will never be president, and calls on people to shame the Donald. Unfortunately, she was wrong.
Yeah.
O'Donnell says that she started drinking again following Trump's election, saying that she was very, very depressed, that she was drinking a lot.
I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, if the person who's been, like, publicly bullying you for most of your adult life is now the president of the United States, I can imagine that would be very stressful.
Yeah. In 2017, Michelle, Rosie's ex-wife, passes away from suicide. So it's just kind of like, the president is calling you horrible things and then your ex commits suicide.
Like, my feelings are hurt when I see that my friends hung out without me. If someone who actively hated my guts became the president, I think I would collapse in on myself like a dying star.
Yeah. And so, like, post 2016, it's like Rosie is doing some acting stuff. So, like, she was on 2 episodes of the CBS sitcom Mom, playing the ex-girlfriend of Allison Janney's character. She's a regular panelist on The Match Game. She goes on the $100,000 Pyramid Show. She plays the gym teacher in Hairspray Live.
Oh, yeah!
She has a Showtime comedy series, Smilf, in 2013.
does that stand for?
Something with MILF. Let me look at. I should have looked it up before.
Okay. Yeah, obviously something with MILF.
Let's see. SMILF show. Oh, single MILFs.
Or single or Southie. Or both.
Because I think it's like in South Boston or something.
Yeah.
Again, I really should have framed this around Rosie O'Donnell and Roseanne Barr, because Roseanne Barr was supposed to have her role in this show.
Do you know who else is on that show?
Who?
Samara Weaving.
Ooh, I love her!
Yeah.
In 2021, O'Donnell guest stars on the series Run the World and The L Word, Generation Q. In 2022, she voiced the role of MTA subway announcements in the second season of the Russian Doll series on Netflix.
Oh, cool.
She also I guess, makes an appearance in the League of Their Own series.
Yeah.
And then we skip to early 2025. So shortly after Trump was inaugurated for a second presidential term, O'Donnell moves to Ireland and applies for Irish citizenship through descent. She said, "It has been heartbreaking to see what's happening politically and hard for me personally as well. The personal is political, as we all know." She went on to say that she and her child Clay just feel like we need to take care of ourselves and make some hard decisions and follow through. And in July of 2025, Trump threatens to revoke her US-born birthright citizenship.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that is kind of like the end of my timeline for Rosie O'Donnell, where it is just like the later half of her career, I feel, is so defined by like this just vitriolic hatred from Donald Trump that really trickles down to the rest of society. I'm going to send you a clip from South Park, Mackenna, for you to watch and then have you react to it. I just feel like this clip is a good example of the way that I think Rosie O'Donnell, I don't know, the way she was characterized in media.
Okay. Wait, before we watch this, can I go to the bathroom really fast?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, update. I went to the bathroom and I watched it in the bathroom. This is interesting because it's pre her being on The View, because it was, it's after the Bush Gore election. So it's just interesting timing. But yeah, I just like being like a huge bulbous monstrosity is like so gross.
Yeah. So basically, in this clip, South Park parodies O'Donnell, and she gets described as a bulbous monstrosity and gets characterized as this kind of just like loud, brash, angry woman. And then in the episode, at some point, Cartman eats her, and then he gets sick because she tastes bad.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I've been trying to think about my overall thoughts about Rosie O'Donnell, and especially like the vilification of her, especially regarding her appearance. And I really feel like Rosie O'Donnell, to me, this narrative really reads as a canary in the coal mine. She was somebody who was punished for these traits that are just continuing to be more and more policed today, like queerness, boundaries, anger, political speech. And it's just interesting because she was never really allowed any kind of redemption. And we live in a world where I think male celebrities survive scandals that are much worse than anything that she did singularly or in total, and they're allowed to rebrand themselves and just continue being, and she was never really afforded that narrative arc. And so once she got labeled as difficult, every action reinforced that story. And it's like, I just don't see a world where she is able to come back into the mainstream, at least while Donald Trump is president.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, I wouldn't want to.
No.
Like, I wouldn't want to. Like, it just feels like she's had a lot happen in her life, and she, like, kind of needs to, like, just be with her family and sort of chill the fuck out. Like, I wouldn't want to deal with it right now, because now it's not just an extremely rich man coming after you. It's the president of the United States coming after you.
Well, and that's the thing, is that it's like, he's not joking when he says that he wants to revoke her birthright citizenship. I mean, holy shit, dude. There is a fucking potential where, like, a lot of Donald Trump shit about immigration is coming from wanting to banish Rosie O'Donnell from the United States.
Yeah, I mean, totally.
And it's just fucked up. I don't know. Let me see if I can find it, because there's this amazing picture of Rosie O'Donnell from some like sketch she was doing, and they put her in bondage gear as like a joke, but she just looks really hot.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this a lot in the fat suits episode too. Like, we did just like used to hate fat people more than I would say, even though there is like now this like Ozempic thing, there is less still than there was at this time. People are less loud about their hatred of fat people still in a mainstream way. Obviously, like all of these alpha male bro like TikTokers and podcast guys are like, fuck fat people on their podcast now. But it's like, we still haven't gone back in like mainstream media to this era of like dunking on fat people the way that we used to.
Here is the picture of her in Exit to Eden.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. She just looks good.
Yeah, and it's like, at the time, it's like, it was supposed to be this like comedy, like with a heist plot, and it's supposed to be a big joke that she's like wearing essentially bondage gear in this scene, and it's like, no, she just looked good.
She just looks good. And like, I mean, also, and like, this is not to you know, regardless of her size, all of these jokes would be just inappropriate, but it is always baffling that like she is the person who they were talking about this way, because like, she's just really not that big.
Yeah.
Like, she's just really not that big, and it's the same, you know, it's like we've talked about before, I've mentioned before, like, all the shit that, like, Jessica Simpson got for, like, being fat, and you go back and you look at pictures of her, and you're like, what? You're like, what do you mean? This is crazy. And I feel kind of the same way looking at that image, where I'm like, this woman who South Park is calling a bulbous monster, and that's who it is? What are we talking about? Like, and like, not that anyone who is fat is a bulbous monster. Again, that is not the point that I am making, but like, it's such just crazy disconnect from like the lens through which I see the world. And so I have a really hard time even understanding where this like comedy is supposed to be coming from.
Well, right, because it's the media trying to define what is acceptable and unacceptable size. And when we look at it with a lens of like, oh yeah, I know what a normal body looks like, it just becomes humorous to see people try to call certain people fat and make fun of their weight. And it's like, and not that it justifies it, right? Even if Rosie O'Donnell was like my size or bigger, it's like, it doesn't justify it still. No. But it's really jarring to look back and see like, oh,
the size 16 woman, and they're like the fattest person who's ever lived, and you're like, well, and I think it's that thing that we talked about a little bit in the plastic surgery series of like, when you're in a space where everyone like you know, the Mar-a-Lago face thing I think is especially relevant here. I think that like, when you're in a space where everyone is looking and doing the same things, where everyone is getting, you know, the fox threaded lift, and then in, you know, the Mar-a-Lago face they're all getting the crazy whatever they're doing to their faces, like, that starts to feel normal because everyone is doing that. And in the same token, then people who don't look like that are viewed as abnormal. So if we're thinking about Rosie O'Donnell in the context of like heroin chic era Hollywood, relatively, she is much larger. But for regular people, even at that time, regular people existing in the world, they're seeing people who look like her every single day. And so there's just this like fundamental disconnect between like what people actually look like and what people who live in these like Hollywood spheres look like. And it's like, I think that's why it's sometimes like appearance stuff with media can be so unsettling and so strange, because it's just not the reality of most people's day-to-day lives that they're surrounded by people who look like that.
But then it sets a standard, and then the normal people walking around are like, oh, I don't even look like Rosie O'Donnell. I must be really fucking disgusting.
Right, no, exactly. And like, that's the whole issue of like, that's why we have this podcast. But it's just one of those things that like is such a, I think once your brain like awakens to that fact of like, this is all coming from a specific context in which the normal that exists for everybody else does not exist for these people, it all starts to like, I don't know, congeal in my brain a lot better. Because it's the same way that like, you know, watching this episode of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives where she's getting a labiaplasty, they're all like, what the fuck does that mean? Because none of the rest of them have had it. And so even they're like, huh? But like a lot of them have had boob jobs, and like they're all going and like getting filler together. And so like those things are a part of their norm. So they don't view it as being anything outside. And then when someone presented a surgery that was like, what the fuck are you talking about? That was the first time I watched any of them sort of like twitch at like an appearance-based thing. And I think that's a similar thing that happens in Hollywood, is that if everyone is under 130 pounds and looks the exact same, someone who isn't is going to make you twitch.
Well, and God forbid that a person who looks like that say anything that you don't like.
Well, that would be crazy. Ugly people should shut up.
That's what Donald Trump says.
Well, Aubrey, any like closing thoughts on this?
Not really. I mean, I've said my piece. I think that, like, unfortunately, like, I think the world should have looked at the way that Rosie O'Donnell was being treated and said, hey, why are we vilifying this, like, talk show host who we find loud and abrasive so much? And why are we asking her to make herself as quiet and small as possible? And instead what happened is nobody did that. And I just think that it hurts our entire culture, because it's just, I don't know, it's just like a sign to other women too, that it's like, God forbid you be fat and loud. That is the worst thing you could be.
Yeah.
And I'm fat and loud. So I love when people are fat and loud. I'm the next Rosie O'Donnell.
I will say, to end in sort of a bit of a positive place, I do think the thing that has been so good about the internet, everyone transport yourself back to the year 2006. If you weren't alive in 2006, don't shut the fuck up. This isn't for you. Sorry, tell the 20-year-olds who listen to the podcast. The only way you were seeing other people was on your TV, at the movies, or in your real life, right? Like, that's how we're seeing other people in the 90s and early 2000s. And then, I mean, I think YouTube started in 2006, but like when YouTube really pops off, when all of these other like influencer spheres really pop off, you get exposed to different parts of the world, but also like just people who might look more like you, who you then have a model for, who's not just like, everyone in Hollywood is thin and beautiful, so I have to die now. It's like, now you can find pockets of the internet that are good. The problem is that the algorithm pushes you towards the pockets of the internet that are bad. But like, I will say, like, the thing that I do so believe in about the internet and about, I mean, I don't know, I'm a YouTube hoe because I work on it, but like, you can find people who look like you, who might make you feel more normal for existing. And I think that is one of the great benefits of the internet, is being able to find people who look like you and maybe make you feel a little bit more normal and less divergent than you would if you're like in a small town with not that many people, and you're only seeing people in your small town and on TV. So, you know, it's the thing that when we talk about like why was there no fat people 100 years ago? There were, but there just was no, they weren't visible. And like now they're visible, and obviously something different should have happened for Rosie O'Donnell. But I do genuinely think the story would be different now, because we're just used to seeing different people now more, which is great. And so many things about the internet are awful, but like that ability to like see and be seen is, I will never not say, is not a positive.
Well, and I think that's what brings me back to the first time I would see Rosie O'Donnell on TV when I was a kid, and I was so compelled by her because, to be honest, like, even as a little kid, I didn't look like the pretty blonde ladies on TV. I looked like Rosie O'Donnell, and I liked her because of that.
And that's why representation matters, no matter how much they try to convince you it doesn't. It does. I'm so interested to see what kind of human being my niece Aspen is going to be, because all of her favorite things are like Moana, and I'm like, she's gonna be cool as hell because she likes all the fun princesses.
All the babies love Moana. My cousin's babies love Moana.
Yeah.
It must just be, it must have some, I haven't seen it. It must just like, I don't, probably all the pretty colors, the water.
Moana has the sauce, let me just say it. And it does mean that my niece is constantly just running around the house going, I'm gonna need a stronger boat, or something like that. I don't know. But it's very funny. She got a bunch of princess dresses for Christmas, and she wore her Moana dress for 3 days in a row.
Aww.
Just a tiny white child named Aspen wearing her Moana dress every day for 3 days straight.
Meanwhile, my Filipino-Cuban nieces are like, give us Spider-Man.
Hell yeah. No, that's sick as hell. Oh yeah, Aspen also loves How to Train Your Dragon. She always is like, dragons! I want to see the dragons!
I love that.
And I want to see the dragons. have a question or a topic that you would like for us to discuss, send us an email at informedattraction@gmail.com.